This is Andrew Cosman, physiotherapist with ADM Ottawa Physiotherapy. Today I wanted to continue our discussion about pain science. To date, we have introduced a few videos that talked about a variety of subjects. So to begin, we introduced pain science in general. We later followed up with a conversation about yellow flags, which I'll remind you are these different factors that can exist in a person's life that may lead to prolonged disability or missing work. And then we also talked about the nervous system as a whole and how that sort of functions as an alarm that can be overly sensitive after a person has been exposed to pain or injury, where things that did not previously bother now bother because the alarm system has increased in sensitivity. So today we wanted to talk a little bit more about how to calm that nervous system that has become increasingly sensitive and is sounded by things that never used to bother before. As you all know, that part of the nervous system, a big part, the central part of the nervous system is the brain. So naturally, when we talk about things that can influence the nervous system, these are things that by and large will have an effect on the brain. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but there is a concept known as neuroplasticity. And what that means essentially is that, like a plastic bag of some sort, which you can actually pull and is to some degree moldable, the brain is as well. And this is stuff that we might not have previously known about in the literature. But more and more, neuroscience is leaning on the fact that even in our older ages, we are able to adapt and learn, which also helps us to recover. So, leaning on this concept of neuroplasticity, I want to just consider some of the different activities or exercises that a person can engage in that can retrain the brain in order to help a person's recovery. So naturally, we're not only talking about physical exercise, but we can get to that in a moment. But it can include things like prayer, like meditation, simply sitting silently, listening to calm music, participating in enjoyable activities, and surrounding yourself with people that you enjoy. So these things have a calming effect on the brain and also on the nervous system. And of course, avoiding all of the things that put stress and strain on that system is equally important. Um, Considering other things like diet and sleep can also be very important. Uh, it's not uncommon in general to have heard that the remedy for almost anything is either diet and exercise. So this is no different in considering a person's diet and adding to that their sleep. It is additional avenues in which a person can boost their brain health and help facilitate their recovery. Of course, from a movement perspective, if a person is having pain and doesn't want to engage in any particular movement, engaging in those movements can be a way of recovering as well. Reintroducing smaller tasks that help give confidence to a person that they can do something. It can be a very critical and crucial way of retraining the brain to understand that these movements are safe and they don't need to be pain provoking. As we said before, the brain can send out the signals when it interprets something as threatening, and therefore be one of the main reasons why somebody's alarm system, their nervous system, might sound off prematurely. It's an interesting idea just to consider breaking things down into tasks as opposed to looking at a particular task through a lens of pain and identifying it with pain. If you could break down that task, then you have often a bigger chance of being able to overcome step by step that larger task that is previously identified as being painful. And this is where physiotherapy, of course, can come in, knowing the movement patterns and seeing what a person can and can't do, and then being able to break it down into whether movements that are easier or putting people in positions that are less threatening. This is a big part of what we do to begin with, is in order to bring somebody to a level that they're at in order to then slowly start progressing them anyway. This is done 99% of the time in people's exercise regimes. But for a person who has an increasingly sensitive nervous system, this becomes even more important while respecting people's pain levels. So as always, if you have any questions, you can always reach out 613-820-8765. We look forward to our next conversation. Take care.